SOSG, 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 standing on solid ground.
Hello, this is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I am your host of this motivational and inspirational podcast, and today's Bible verse, Matthew 6 and 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Although this may be really simple to read, it's mighty difficult to do. We're so in control of our own lives that we don't realize just how much control God has in our lives. We just have to learn to trust in him. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Look to him first. No matter how bad the situation may be, no matter how big the situation may become, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Look to him first. And his righteousness. Look at all of what he has. There are those that when we sit down and we think about it, we really can't understand or gravitate to how much God does have and how little we look towards God. Now, I know that I have mentioned in several different episodes where I am looking for change in my life. And I'm going to have that change. And that change is coming really, really soon. And in doing so, I think I have to do something to make that change. In other words, I have to have the sources. I have to have the financial support. I have to have the plan. Everything. And I set it up in my mind. And I believe it was yesterday or maybe it was Friday. But it was like God was talking to me. And he asked me a question. How much do you have? And that question stumped me. I'm like, I have what I can do, in other words. I mean, my job does not pay millions of dollars a year. My job does not pay even hundreds of thousands a year. Not to me. Now to other individuals, maybe, but not to myself. So I can only have what I can sustain from the income that I do have coming in. He said, well, how much do I have? And I said, you have everything. He said, so why are you trying to fit your budget in what I want for you instead of allowing me to fit my budget to what I want you to have? I said, it's a good question. And I didn't have a good answer for that. We tend to take the control out of God's hands. That if God said he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But we don't have to plan around what God plans for our lives. We just have to be ready when he's ready to bless us. We have to be ready to say, okay, God, I'm ready for the next step. And then he's going to do that next step. He's going to take us to that next journey. But we plan for our next journey. And God doesn't want us to do that. He wants us to be patient in him and not look to ourselves to be blessed. And I'm like, wow, okay. I never thought of it that way. I never looked at it that way. I always thought that when God tells me, I want you to do something, that I have to save the money or prepare the plans to do something. God already have it planned. He just needs for us to follow his recipe for success. I believe, and I will continue to believe, everybody in this world can be successful on one level or another. But we all have to look to God to be successful because God has everyone's life already planned. And what he has planned for our life, if we learn to follow his footsteps in this journey, we can be successful. Now, I'm not talking about always money. Success is on many different levels. I know. Many people feel that you only are successful unless you make a lot of money. But there is success in so many different levels. When the astronauts went to space, now I'm not going to say that they don't get paid well. They're risking their lives. And I've seen lives be ended during an episode of the shuttle going off. I remember the shuttle when we was watching it on television. You know, every school in the country, I thought, was in class watching this shuttle take off. And it exploded in midair. It didn't even make it outer space. It exploded with a teacher and astronauts and different ones. So when we make plans to do something, let's follow God's suit. Now, that would have been a successful adventure. That would have been a successful voyage had it did what it was supposed to do. Unfortunately, it did not, and I believe it was 7 lives that was lost that day. But the whole world saw it when it happened. And that was very grievous. And especially to those families that are down there on the earth watching this shuttle go up and did not realize that they were going to see that loved one for the very last time. They did not know that. And it was disheartening and it was heartbreaking. But had that takeoff been successful and they had returned, that would have been awesome. That would have been a success. So success is not based on just money. I've watched where many laws have been passed through mothers, let's just say Mothers Against Driving, when they went and they fought for their loved ones who had lost their children in accidents because of a drunk driver. These laws went into effect. That's success. This success wasn't always financial. They may have to put out a lot of time and money to be successful in this journey, but it was successful. So when we think about his riches are not always in a financial setting. His riches could be in love, joy, peace, hope, faith, in your life where you may have seen your life as being one way and God changed it and transformed it before your eyes and it's something better, different, happier. So when we are looking to God first, we're looking for his idea, his plan for our life and his riches. What will be a success once we receive that or do what God asks us to do? And then it said, all these things shall be added unto you. The things that you're seeking God for, that is according to his will. So a lot of times we'll say, well, I've been praying and asking God for a husband or a wife. I've been praying and asking God for a mansion or for a fancy car or for this, and he hasn't given it to me. Do you ever stop to think that maybe that's not his will for your life? That's something that you want in your life. It's a difference. I'm not saying that you will never get it. You work hard enough. You do what you do. Yes, you can be successful in having it. But was it God's will? There are so many people that have everything they want and they are not happy. They're not content. So they keep doing things that makes them more money, but they're still not finding that happy spot. And that happy spot is what they're looking for. And when they cannot find that happy spot, it's like they fill it up with other things because they are not really settled in their spirit. They're not happy. And when they cannot find that happiness, it's a struggle. Now, a lot of people will say, well, they got everything. Why aren't they happy? It's the inside that needs to find peace. Yes, you'll have everything under the moon on earth. Those treasures or his righteousness, those things that he has is priceless. Peace is priceless. Joy is priceless. It doesn't have a price tag on it. You have it or you don't. His love is priceless. These are the things that are part of his riches that we can't see, we can't buy. We have to go look for it. That's why he wants us to seek him first. Because it's not going to be found in everything else on this earth. It's only going to be found in him. Because we can be happy for a long time with riches on this earth. But how long can you sustain? How happy are you? There are those that can be rich and be happy until their life ends. But then there are those that can have those riches and they're miserable. And they're miserable because they're not doing really what God really had put them on this earth to do. They're not fulfilling God's journey. God gave you everything that you can ever imagine on this earth. But now it's time to serve him. And that's where the issue comes in. Now, when I look at my life and I say, well, Lord, you know what I want. You know the desires of my heart. You know what I'm looking for. And he said, well, stop planning and let me do the work. And then I will make things happen for you. But you have to stop planning. That's why you came to me in the first place. You know, it's almost like going to a friend's house. And you ask them, hey, do you think you can help me with my car? Is something going on there? And you all get under, they go and they look underneath the hood. But then you go meddling. You go and start pulling apart wires that you shouldn't be pulling apart. And you start doing this and you start doing that. You start showing the person. It's like going to a mechanic and showing the mechanic what's wrong. They're the mechanic. Let them work on the car. But you go in and point out everything that's wrong with it. And the mechanic's looking at you. Well, okay, if you're not going to let me do it, then take the car home and you figure it out. Because you're meddling in what his expertise is. But if you take the car, tell the mechanic what's going on, and then you go and sit down somewhere and you let them do their job, they'll find the problem, they'll tell you what the problem is and the cost. And then you go from there. That's how we do God. We go to God with our problems and then we try to fix it ourselves. Instead of sitting back and let God take control. Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. He'll add the things that's needed for your life. As long as you go to him with the right heart and spirit. This is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. You have yourself a wonderful and blessed day.